Uruguayan songwriter. This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman with Nermeen Sheikh, and our guest is the great writer, Eduardo Galeano, famous for Open Veins of Latin America and many other books. His trilogy, Memory of Fire. Also wrote Soccer and Sun and Shadow, Upside Down, The Book of Embraces, We Say No, Voices of Time and Mirrors, and other books. His latest book is Children of the Days, and you have another piece that you'd like to read, Eduardo.
Yes, about migrants. Immigration, it's a subject always present in daily life here in the United States and in many other countries also. And so this is something about December 18, the first exiles. Today, International Migrants Day, is not a bad moment to recall that the first ones in human history obliged to emigrate were Adam and Eve. According to the official version, Eve tempted Adam. She offered him the forbidden fruit, and it was her fault that both of them were banished from paradise. But, is that what really happened? Or did Adam do what he did of his own accord? Hizo lo que hizo porque quiso. Maybe Eve offered him nothing and asked him nothing of him. Maybe Adam chose to bite the forbidden fruit when he learned that Eve had already done so. Maybe she had already lost the privilege of immortality, and Adam opted to share her damnation. And so he became mortal, but not alone.
That's wonderful, Eduardo Galeano. Could you talk about that particular, the last entry that you've read, and the question of immigration as an issue here in the United States?
Yes, I hope things will change, and I really cannot Christopher Columbus could not discover, or the so-called discovery of America, because he had no visa, no passport. Hernández Cabral could not discover Brazil because he had no how is it? A police document establishing that he was honest, and he was dangerous because he could introduce some unknown enfermedades. How is it? Enfermedad?
Diseases.
Yeah?
Diseases?
Yeah, diseases unknown in Brazil. As it happened, Europe had been so gentle to colonize Brazil, invaded and conquered Brazil, and then a lot of unknown diseases entered there and devastated the country. So he couldn't, or he could not be allowed to enter because he was quite dangerous. And so on, with different situations all along history. The impunity of the North and the impotence of the South.
Do you feel that times have changed in a positive way in Latin America? I mean,
yes.
What you have experienced from Uruguay, you had to go into exile, you were imprisoned briefly, then went to Argentina, you fled Argentina, you went to Spain, coup after coup, and yet, what about today?
Well, today, I think that some doors are being opened, And we are living stimulating times, liberating some energy which is a good energy of change and energy of creation, with some limitations that I see in these progressive governments we have in several countries now, mainly the divorce between human rights and the rights of nature. I mean, from the viewpoint of the defense of natural resources, I'm not so sure that they are doing well. on other fields, yes, certainly yes. Poverty is diminishing, and there is a strong effort in several countries done in the name of the poor people and the unknown, the anonymous people. But about the protection of natural resources, it doesn't work. I hope it will, but in South America there is not a broad conscience about the fact that natural resources are maybe bread for today and hunger for tomorrow. 5 centuries or more than 5 centuries prove it, that our natural richness can go away. And not even say goodbye, it was a pleasure, or no, nothing, just go away, and will never come back. I mean, most of these resources are lost forever, and we don't have still a clear conscience of this.
And Eduardo Galeano, you've written a great deal about the position of indigenous peoples in Latin America.
Yes.
Do you think their position has changed, particularly since the election of Evo Morales in Bolivia? Could you talk a little about that?
Yes, it's a good news, the fact that for the first time we have a constitution. The first one was in Ecuador, Bolivia also. Recognizing the rights of nature. It was the first time in all the history of humanity. No other constitution before had recognized nature as a source of justice. And there were so many people astonished by it, saying, but how nature can have rights if nature is not a person? Well, the answer is here in the United States. In the middle of 19th century, the Supreme Court of the United States recognized the human rights for corporations. And it's still alive, this decision of the Supreme Court. I mean, still here in the United States, corporations has human rights. And then why not nature also, if corporations can defend themselves, saying we have human rights? Well, let's admit that nature also should be protected.
Eduardo Galeano, the title of your book comes from Guatemala,
yes.
Children of the Days. Now in Guatemala there is an unprecedented trial going on. Whether it will conclude, we're not sure right now. But that is of Efraín Ríos Montt for genocide, for crimes against humanity, the dictator who was responsible for the deaths of so many.
He killed thousands and thousands of people, and he destroyed several communities and villages, killing the babies. The order was, it's a war against the seeds, contra las semillas, the seeds of evil. Satan was present in each Indian baby being born, so they killed a lot of babies and children. And it was good news to know that he was on a trial. But,
and it may implicate the current president, Perez Molina, who was
also yes, but especially
worked with Ríos Montt.
The main murderer was the other one.
Riosmond. And
which he has his brother is a bishop and he's a good person, but he was terrible. He was really the main responsible for this massacre, massive extermination of Indian population, and
was also quite...
At the beginning it was good news. First time in Guatemala, and one of the first times in all Latin America that something like this was happening. But nowadays it seems that impunity will win again. He has a broad army of lawyers, and the last news I received from Guatemala were not good. And perhaps impunity will win again. I hope not, but...
President Hugo Chavez gave your book, gave Open Veins of Latin America to President Obama.
Yes.
President Chavez has died. Your thoughts on his significance?
It was a symbolic act, indeed, no? Because he gave Obama the Spanish edition, and Obama doesn't read the Spanish. And there are a lot of English editions, something like 30 or 40. So it was clearly symbolic. It was just a way of saying, look, President of the planet, just a second, have a look on it. There are other worlds in this world.